Hi, my name is Muhammad Firas Aliyan bin Zainudin. My matric number is 287696. I am going to present process involved in construction technology. In project life cycle, we have 4 phases. First, is conceptual phase, second, planning phase, third, execution phase, and the fourth is termination. In phase 1, conceptual phase, we determine that a project is needed. Establish goal and estimate the resources that the organization is willing to commit. Then, we sell the organization on the need for a project approach and make key personnel appointment. In phase 2, we need to define 3 things, which is project organization, project target, allocate task and resources. The last thing is we need to build the project team. In phase 3, the execution phase, we perform work of the project. Work such as design, construction, production, site activation, testing, delivery, and etc. In last phase, which is phase 4, is termination, we assist in transfer of project product. Next, we transfer human and non-human resource to other organizations. After that, transfer or complete the commitments. After complete, the project must be terminated. All the personal reward will be given. Then we go to construction process, which it has 4 stages. The first stage is conceptual stage, the second one, design stage, third stage, construction stage, and last stage, operation and maintenance stage. In conceptual stage, client identifies the need for the item of construction and appoints and briefs consultants who study the client's requirement, propose an outline of the design and assess the feasibility of the project. In design stage, the concept of the project is further developed and production information and contract documentation prepared. Tenders are called. In construction stage, production programs are prepared and construction carried out on site. Lastly, operation and maintenance stage, the completed building or works is maintained, repaired or altered as required over the course of its life. Now, we are going into activities at various stages of construction project. In this section, there has plenty of substage that need to be explained. Currently, we have inception, outline proposals, scheme design, detailed design, tender, project planning, site operation and operation. Let's check out the first one, inception. Client considers project requirements, acquire land, set up project team, appoints and briefs architect/engineer. Outline proposals. Members of the design team develop brief, consider the technical and functional feasibility of the client's intentions, make general proposals for the project including form, layout, height and floor area. Architect applies for the outline planning approval. Scheme design. In this stage, architect/engineer finalizes brief, and with other consultants, prepares sketch designs which are submitted to the client for approval. Detailed design. The design team prepares the full design of the project and all relevant production information and contract documentation. Architect applies for building plan approval. In tender, architect or engineer will invite tenders. Quantity surveyor evaluates the tenders and report to client. Recommends to client. Client signs a contract with successful bidder. In project planning, main contractor lets the specialist and other contract, prepares a program for the project and mobilizes resources for construction on site. Site operation, main contractor and subcontractors transform the production information into a physical facility. Members of the design team supervise construction. Architect/engineer issues payment certificates periodically on the recommendation of the quantity surveyor. Site meeting. On completion, architect applies for a temporary occupation license. Application for a final certificate. Last substage, operation. All faults becoming evident during the defect liability period are made good by the contractor. Quantity surveyor prepares the final account for the project. Client arranges for the management and maintenance of the facility. Now, I am going to explain activities involved during construction project. The construction process involves the translation of a client's need and intentions, then prepare documentation, cost plan, BQ, specifications, drawings, and finally, the construction phase. We have 5 pre-construction activities. Feasibility study are preliminary investigations undertaken in the very early stage of a project to assess whether the project is viable. They tend to be carried out when a project is relatively large or complex, or where there is some doubt or controversy regarding the proposed development. Outline conceptual design stage. It has a decisive influence on the quality and costs of the project. The goal of the conceptual design phase is to establish the size and shape of a building, that is, how it basically looks and operates. It includes a lot of modeling and sketching, and takes up around 15% of the architect's fees and work. Preliminary design is the stage in which general project location and design concepts are determined. Preliminary design can include a wide range of preliminary engineering and other activities and analyses, including but not limited to environmental assessments, topographic surveys, METES and bond surveys, geotechnical investigations, hydrologic analysis, and etc. After this stage comes the design development phase, during which the client and architect select materials such as interior finishes, and products such as fixtures, doors, windows, and appliances. The sketches will be revised, and there will be more details and specifications. Completion of working drawing. A drawing or blueprint based on explanations. It is also completed with a thorough plan and views that will help ensure the product construction or replication without any additional information. Construction supervision. 7 activities. Preliminaries. The section in the bills of quantities which groups together items which are necessary for the contractor to complete the works, but will not actually become part of the works, such as scaffolding, plant, water, the cost of power to the site and other site overheads. The preliminaries section also often summarizes the contractual terms and services to be provided by the contractor. Demolition. Demolition in the construction sector means the bringing down of buildings and other structures that are load-bearing or otherwise related to the physical integrity of the structure. Excavation and foundation. The equipment-heavy task of removing the earth from the allotted area in order to make room for the foundation. Depending on the depth and hardness of the soil, the trench may need to be reinforced as earth is removed. Concrete and brickworks. It is also called masonry construction. Masonry consists of building structures from single units that are laid and bound together with mortar. Brick, stone, and concrete blocks are the most common materials used in masonry construction. External works. Describe primarily the areas immediately surrounding the building, and provisions include minor roads in a housing estate, paved areas, boundary walls, railings, fencings and turfed areas. M&E works. Mechanical and engineering, M&E, refers to the mechanical and electrical systems installed and operated by a facility management company in facilities management. Building services are the systems that are built in buildings to make them comfortable, operational, efficient and safe, such as lighting, drainage and water supply. Mechanical and electrical engineering, however, can be a broader sector than this, covering fields beyond construction and design, such as large-scale power generation and transmission, transportation systems, heating and ventilation, industrial installations and so on. Finishes. Building finishes comprise of plastering, pointing, painting, varnishing, white/color washing or distempering. These finishes are performed to satisfy the following functions. These finishes primarily form protective coating to the exposed surface. This implies that the finishes preserve and protect the materials and thereby increase the lifespan of the materials. These finishes add to the aesthetic view of the building and form a sort of decorative item. Construction activities. Any and all activity incidental to the erection, demolition, assembling, altering, installing or equipping of buildings, structures, roads, or appurtenances thereto, including land clearing, grading, excavating and filling. Variation order. Refers to any changes to the scope of work, planning, and specification or contract documents in a construction project. Progress payment. A partial payment made to a business or contractor after the completion of a predefined stage of work, for example, a demolition or the addition of a roof and siding. These installments replace other approaches, such as a single, lump sum payment at the end of a project or a half upfront, half at the end arrangement. Certificate of Practical Completion, CPC. A certificate issued to the contractor by the superintendent or the superintendent's representative when the works under the contract have reached the stage of completion described in the general conditions of contract. The building should have been completed in accordance with the contract requirements, and all contractual requirements between both parties should have been met. Certificate of Fitness. A system in the housing or estate management and development industry to look at the compliance of the developers against rules and regulation on building and infrastructure so that people who occupy it would feel safe. It was a certificate designed for the same purpose, making sure properties aren't built so badly that they fall down like a stack of cards. Now, let's look into another section in construction, site preparation. First, site clearing. The removal of all trees, bushes, vegetation, rubbish and any other relevant obstruction within line of work. Establish the survey markers to indicate the working area for the site clearance. Second, earthwork. The processes whereby the surface of the earth is excavated and transported to and compacted at another location. The engineering works created through the processing of parts of the Earth's surface involving quantities of soil or unformed rock. Third, setting out and leveling. A process of determining the height of one level relative to another. Fourth, hoarding. A hoarding is defined as a temporary boarded fence in a public place, usually erected around a building site. These are used to protect the public from site works whilst also being used to display advertisements. Fifth, dewatering system. A term to describe the removal of groundwater or surface water from, for example, a construction site. In construction, the water is pumped from wells or sumps to temporarily lower the groundwater levels, to allow excavation in dry and stable conditions below natural groundwater level. Sixth, temporary building. A building or any part thereof that will be used for a period of time not exceeding 1 year from the date of the placement of such a building but does not include a mobile home intended for single-family residential occupancy. Temporary structures are used to facilitate the construction of buildings, bridges, tunnels, and other above and below ground facilities by providing access, support, and protection for the facility under construction, as well as assuring the safety of workers and the public. 7th. Access. The means or ability to approach and/or enter a place, site, etc. without proper access control. Workers risk unintentionally entering an area that poses any number of health threats. Chemical exposure, hearing damage, head injuries, or worse can occur when a worker enters an area without the correct safety equipment. Working in construction doesn't have to be inherently risky. Now, for key player involves in construction. The owner. The person or organization that owns a built asset, such as a building, bridge, tunnel, etc., or land. But it may also refer to ownership of the components of a project. The designer or estimator, that includes architect, CNS engineer, MNS engineers and quantity surveyor. These people or individual whose business involves preparing or modifying designs for construction projects, or arranging for, or instructing, others to do this. Designs include drawings, design details, specifications, bills of quantity and design calculations. The constructor. Someone who undertakes a construction project for an owner, like a general contractor, and may also include an owner who undertakes the entire or partial ECT by himself. Plain and simple, constructors have the overall responsibility of a project in making sure everyone follows the mandatory regulations. In the execution of this function, the organization's mission, objectives, goals, and strategies are determined. In construction control, construction is monitored by project manager. We compare the construction as planned and actual progress based on work programs. And other few, controls such as IT, cash flow, and inspection. In monitoring and controlling construction project, the task of monitoring and controlling help to determine the objectives are within reach. Monitoring and control has to start at early stage of the project development since it has more impact on cost. It focusing on monitoring and control at the construction stage since many acknowledge of its difficulty. By using software can easily be updated and preparation of reports are standardized. In addition, several methods used to monitor the work progress. These include time weightage, cost weightage, man days and quality. Here is the example of Gantt chart that illustrates a project schedule and shows the dependency relationships between activities and current schedule status. Essentially, a Gantt chart gives you a visual overview of all tasks against the construction timelines. Gantt charts display important information like who is assigned to which tasks, the estimated duration of tasks, and any overlapping activities within a project plan. Gantt charts can help streamline your projects and make for ideal solutions when it comes to planning, avoiding delays, monitoring tasks, and completing projects by their finish date. This is a procedure for project controlling. Implementation of project controlling. There are 5 elements of project controlling: forecasting, budget, action plan, milestone, and tools. What is a successful construction? A project that meets the given standards, is finished in time and within the budget. Number 1. Create a flow of communication. Number 2. Make a habit of continuous plan. Number 3. Observe and ask a questions. Number 4. Budget project with work execution platform. Number 5. Embrace automate reporting system. Thank you.